Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Dagmar, your spiritual healer and teacher. And today I'll be talking about the gallbladder and liver and how to do a flush or doing a flush on your gallbladder and liver, or if you even need one. Anyway, some of you might know that over the course of the last 10 years or so, I've dealt with all kinds of poisonings, okay? Anywhere from drinking well water and being poisoned by arsenic, which caused me tremendous hip pain. And still to this day, my hip is still displaced and I haven't quite been able to rehabilitate it yet because I continue to be poisoned by something that has caused me pain in that same hip. And then the last thing that I experienced was actually drinking a Fanta, which is a small soda bottle. It's the orange soda made by Coca-Cola, which incidentally had radioactive waste in it, believe it or not. And it caused me injury to my pancreas, which lasted for about almost a year, not being able to eat meat or certain foods because it caused a tremendous amount of inflammation on my pancreas and a lot of pain and a slew of other symptoms that you really don't want to deal with. And it finally has healed. But over the course of all this time, and I'm talking a bunch of other stuff in between that I'm not even talking about here today. But it's all taking a toll on my liver. The liver is a tremendously important organ in your body. It's actually the only organ that can regenerate itself completely, which is absolutely fabulous, but you got to do the right stuff. If you don't do the right stuff, you also can get it to a point where then you can't do anything about it anymore. Okay, so you have to be very careful. The liver has about, from what I understand, 500 different functions in the body. It's an absolutely amazing organ. And I'm learning this today because my last project here with all this detoxing, my body is really helping my liver come back to normal. Okay. And so recently I actually did a gallbladder liver flush. And let me back up a little bit here. Did you know that, and I've wondered this, I hear from people constantly that they're having their gallbladders taken out. And I don't believe in surgeries. I mean, yes, sometimes they are necessary, but I think they're being way overused these days. And it seems like every other person has their gallbladder taken out. So I did a little bit of research online, and it said that about 1 million people, 1 million Americans are having their gallbladders taken out every year. And, it is interesting thought for you. It is, they can't make money on telling you to go do a gallbladder flush, okay? But they make money on taking out your gallbladder. And one of the things that I found or have observed is that the reason we have gallbladder stones is because of toxins, much like the reason why we have kidney stones is also because of toxins. I've had that as well. In fact, I had that due to arsenic poisoning, which I detoxed years ago now. But I had kidney stones because of that, and then they went away as soon as I detoxed the arsenic out of my system. So that's a heavy metal, by the way. And so recently I've had these interesting issues that I wasn't sure what was going on with me because I knew my liver is fatty. It's been diagnosed fatty since I had the arsenic, which I believe to be the cause of my fatty liver. There's the alcoholic fatty liver, which actually gets fatty because of alcohol. And then there is the fatty liver that gets fatty for other reasons. And the other reasons are basically other toxins, okay? They don't specifically say that, but that's really what it is, because alcohol is a toxin to the liver that the liver needs to clean out of your system. And so are other things like whether it's over-the-counter drugs, whether it's prescription drugs, whether it's surgery, anesthesia, whether it is pesticides on your food. I mean, you name it, okay? These are all toxins that the liver needs to process, take out of your body. So basically, over the course of time, you know, as you're exposed to different toxins and as the liver has to process these toxins, you know, you might develop a fatty liver, because what happens is that actually, and this is happening in your body as well, that's why people are so obese in this country, is because your body actually generates fat to extract toxins from your mainstream system, you know, to keep you basically surviving, right? And so you create fat. Well, the same thing happens actually in the liver. The liver creates fat when it needs to extract the toxins that it can't handle, okay? And so it stores these toxins in the actual fat that it develops, and so you get a fatty liver. And so wherever you have fatty liver and then you have liver issues, then you're going to have gallstones, okay? And those are basically little stones. It's actually crystallized, from what I understand, bile. And that can be stuck in your actual gallbladder, or it can be in your liver. They can be in your liver. And they can then, you know, block the bile ducts and stuff. And, you know, some people have pain attacks because of it. Other people, they say, you know, 10 to 15% have asymptomatic issues with it. I mean, gallbladder stones, they don't even know they have them. And, you know, so I believe that some people don't recognize the symptoms. So of what could be a gallbladder stone problem or issue. And the key is to catch this before it becomes really bad and you get a huge attack, okay? And yes, you can go to the doctor and they're going to perform surgery on you, which is an oxymoron in my eyes, again, because, you know, they're going to pump you full of toxins again, which is the anesthesia, the painkillers, whatever else goes with the surgery. And that is the reason why you got the gallstones in the first place, okay? Now, can you have gallstones if you don't have a gallbladder? Well, you know, it doesn't really take the gallstones out of your liver when they perform, you know, when they take out your gallbladder. I suppose you can't develop them as readily if you don't have a gallbladder, but isn't the key to really get back to being healthy and helping your body produce normally, as opposed to cutting pieces of yourself out? Now, granted, you know, you may be in a position where there's no other choice. You have to have a surgery. And I'm not against that. But I am against, you know, hey, you have a pain in your ear, let's cut it off. You have a pain in your leg, let's cut it off. You have a pain in your gallbladder, let's cut it off. You know, it's just unnecessary. And it is done for the most part for money, for profit. And so what I'm trying to say here is that there's alternatives, okay? You don't have to have your hip necessarily replaced. You don't have to have your gallbladder taken out, okay? There's other ways of doing things. There's multiple paths that lead home, okay? And so this is for your own exploration. Now, I did my very first gallbladder liver flush the other day, and it went very, very well. And so I'm going to share this with you, my experience, and I want to share with you also my symptoms, okay? How I came to think that I might need one, because it wasn't very clear. And I don't go to the doctors, okay? I do a lot of muscle testing on myself. I actually use quite a bit of the pendulum to do muscle testing with, or other means of muscle testing. Now, I teach all this stuff, by the way, in the 12-month alchemy or healer system that I have devised or designed for the purpose of you becoming your own alchemist for your own health. And you don't have to be a healer. You know, if you just want to learn this stuff for yourself, that's great. If you want to help other people with it, that's awesome too, because you can create some miracles with some of the things that I'm teaching. And that doesn't include just the physical part of it, but it includes also the spiritual part of it, and actual healing and quantum healing, actually. So just to mention that, and if you want to know more about it, just look below the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll be posting there where you can actually join the 12-month alchemy for healers and describe it a little bit more for you. So gallbladder, liver flush. So how did I come about thinking that I might need one? Well, I had these weird symptoms, that I contributed eventually to the liver, which I, continuously do research also online about things and trying to understand things. So I suddenly had these extreme sweats. Like I would be profusely sweating, even if it's like 65 outside, I'd be sweating bullets, And one of the things that I learned is that the liver actually can overheat. If it's not working properly, it can actually overheat you. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, when your ankles are swelling or your fingers are swelling, your feet, ankles, that can also be contributed to the liver. There could be other reasons, but it can be the liver. Then I started having all of a sudden bags under my eyes, and I still have a little bit of that left. But I had a lot of bags on my ass all of a sudden, and one of the things that was really happening is I wasn't having enough bile. And when you don't have enough bile, it actually causes pain on your right side, I found out. And I had a lot of that happening, and I kept muscle testing on it. And I eventually got my bile production to 100%, which was great. And yet I kept being deficient on bile, and I couldn't understand why. What was I deficient on bile if I'm producing at 100%, right? So I kept you can buy bile to actually supplement until your liver starts producing more bile, or until that whole bile flow production is fixed. And there's specific bile that I have purchased, which I also will share in the 12-month alchemy program. And, so I've done all that, and yet here I kept being deficient on bile all the time. And I finally figured out basically for myself that this is all part of gallbladder stones because they're blocking my bile. And I'm like, duh, okay, I finally figured it out. And this was after I received such a horrific cramp in my neck. It was like a horse bit me. I've never in my life have experienced anything like that. And then I had constantly pain in my hip, which should have been gone. I mean, with all the toxins out of my system, it should not be there. And yet here I was arthritic, and joint pain. And it's just actually it can be caused by gallbladder stones, believe it or not. So that was also part of it. The other part, symptom that I had is itching of the skin. Lots of itching of the skin, and that's also a liver issue. So there's all these different aspects to, liver issues basically, right? And so I decided to do a gallbladder flush after I found out that it could be gallbladder stones. And again, if you're in the 12-month alchemy program, there will be a post below this video where you will find recipe for it, how to do the gallbladder flush. If you're watching this on YouTube, then do your research on Google, on the internet, to find a recipe for the gallbladder flush, gallbladder liver flush. And so basically there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of magnesium sulfate that you're taking beforehand at specific intervals. And then the main drink. And then the next morning, you're doing some more of the magnesium sulfate. And so when you take the main drink, you have to lay down and actually lay there still for like 20 minutes on your back, flat on your back with your head up on the pillow, and pay attention to what's happening in your liver, right? And I could actually feel pressure in my liver occurring and then disappearing, and then again occurring and disappearing. So you can actually sometimes feel these little the gallstones like marbles moving through your liver. And so I did feel something for sure. Okay. And then I wasn't sure, am I going to see it? Because they're saying that you're actually supposed to look in the toilet after you go. And because the gallstones are actually greenish or beigeish, but most of them are green, and they float. So you can actually see them floating around in the toilet. And I thought, am I going to see them? Am I not going to see them? And lo and behold, the next day, when you actually get the runs and stuff, and so you're basically flushing all this stuff out. And so they were very visible in the toilet. I'm like, holy macaroons, And I saw one of them was kind of larger. It was actually pea size, the size of it. And so that could have definitely be blocking my bile. And so I did my very first gallbladder liver flush. It was definitely an interesting experience. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, some of it like the, magnesium sulfate, you can do Epsom salt because that is magnesium sulfate, dissolve it in water. And it has a kind of a really bitter sort of taste to it, but it wasn't all too bad. I actually squeezed some grapefruit juice into it to kind of subdue the taste of it a little bit. Other people say you can take actually, pill form, the magnesium sulfate, and there's specific amounts you want to take. So again, you got to find the recipe and follow it exactly because it's important. The time intervals and everything is really important to do. And the preparation and the specific drink, etc. You want to do it exactly to the measurements. So I was really excited about the fact that I had this liver flush, and then of course throughout the day you get more, as you keep going to the bathroom and flushing this stuff out. Now they say that you're not really done until you count about 2,000 of these gallbladder stones, because usually we have in the thousands. And I'm very well aware that I'm probably going to have to do a few more liver flushes. So my experience afterward, I want to share with you. So right after, okay, I experienced absolutely no pain in my hip, which means the arthritic stuff completely went away. So this was all due to the gallbladder stones, okay? Now, the next day it kind of came back a little bit, but not to the same degree as it was before. So that went away. The other thing that diminished is some of my, definitely some of my bags under my eyes diminished considerably. Now, they're still there, as you can see a little bit. Now, again, this is my first gallbladder liver flush, and I probably will have to do more because there's probably more stones. And so, that diminished. The itching seemed to have gone away completely, the skin itching. My bile, my bile is flowing, 100% flow right now, bile, okay? I don't have to take any more bile pills. I don't have any more pain on my right side. That's completely gone. I'm producing bile 100%, and my flow is 100%. So it was definitely the gallbladder stones that were blocking something in there, the bile flow, that was causing me problems. And so definitely that improved considerably. And so overall, I just feel much, much better. I was able to do more walking, be more physically active. I do have a little bit more energy with that. So there's definite improvement just after the very first gallbladder liver flush. And I suspect I will definitely need to do more of them to really get more of the stones out. And I do want to. And you should probably, they say, do a gallbladder liver flush a couple of times a year to get stones out. Some people, again, like I say, they don't have any symptoms, or perhaps they don't know what the symptoms are. And perhaps you do have symptoms, but you don't know, or you're not contributing it to gallbladder stones. So that's why I'm sharing my symptoms and what actually reduced, because I would have never contributed all those symptoms to gallbladder stones. So yeah, so we learn something new every day. And as I say, it's the liver is such an important aspect to our health. And by the way, there are things you can do also to try to dissolve the gallbladder stones. So there is also another way of going. I think you should do both. I'm going to do definitely some stuff to try to dissolve them And also there's stuff you can do to reverse fatty liver. And I will share more of that again in the 12-month Alchemy for Healers program. And of course, you know, if you want to comment below the video or ask me questions below the video, you're welcome to do so. And I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. And, you know, you don't have to get your gallbladder removed. Okay. I believe in having all your parts, all your original parts that works the best, okay, in your body, no matter what they say. So anyway, I love you guys and talk to you soon. Bye now.